It's another Friday, so that means I'm back with an all new movie review. This week I'm going to be covering a movie from 1986. If crime is a disease, you're about to meet the cure. Today I'm going to be talking about the Sylvester Stallone movie COBRA, which was released in theaters in 1986. Anyway, when you're done watching this video, you can go back and watch previous videos on my movie review playlist. It's in the description box. Here we go. COBRA is a 1986 American action film directed by George P. Cosmatos and written by Sylvester Stallone, who stars in a titular role. The film is loosely based on the novel A Running Duck by Paula Gosling, later published as Fair Game and filmed under that title in 1995. It co-stars Rennie Santoni, Brigitte Nielsen, and Andrew Robinson. COBRA follows Lieutenant Marion Cobra Cobretti, who investigates a string of violent crimes and also protects a witness targeted by the perpetrators. COBRA is like the final film which featured the collaboration between Stallone and Nielsen after Rocky V a year earlier, and until Creed II in 2018. And the only film the pair are both featured in while they were married to one another in real life. The script was largely inspired by Sylvester Stallone's original script for Beverly Hills Cop, which was released 2 years earlier. When Sylvester Stallone was signed to play the lead role in Beverly Hills Cop, he decided to rewrite the script almost completely, removing nearly all of the comedic aspects and turning it into an action movie that he felt was better suited to him. The studio read his revised script and they rejected it. The proposed action scenes would have increased the budget far beyond what they had planned. Stallone later channeled his ideas for it into an original script. When Stallone left Beverly Hills Cop, Eddie Murphy was brought in to play the lead role. And by the way, that's episode 6 on my movie review series. You can check that episode out as well. The novel A Running Duck by Paula Gosling was cited for source material enough that she received a screen credit. Stallone's earlier draft of the script contained many differences from later drafts and the final film. These include opening shootout taking place in a movie theater instead of a supermarket, during which many more people are killed. COBRA mentioning how he had a girlfriend who was killed by a psychopath he was trying to catch. An additional nighttime action sequence on a boat where COBRA and Ingrid are hiding and are attacked by the Night Slasher's cultists, with COBRA and Gonzalez managing to kill them all, and a different ending in which Monty was revealed to be the actual leader of the New World, attempts to kill Ingrid at the last second before Cobretti killed him. The line, "This is where the law stops and I start sucking," was inspired by a line spoken by Steve McQueen in the movie The Reavers. COBRA needed much additional editing because the film was so graphically violent that it originally received an X rating. It was edited to receive an R rating. Brian Thompson auditioned 7 times before he was hired. On the 4th audition, he met Stallone, who thought that Thompson was too nice to play the Night Slasher, but after a screen test, he immediately got the job. Also, in the original script, the Night Slasher was called Abaddon, possibly after the Angel of the Abyss from the Bible. Thompson repeatedly sought out Stallone's advice about how to play the Night Slasher, including questions about his background and personal motivations, but Stallone showed no interest in the subject and told Thompson that the character was simply evil. In an unfortunate surprise for Thompson, after the filming was completed, director Cosmatos unexpectedly told him, "You could have been good if you had listened to me." Stallone acknowledged Dirty Harry as an influence, and COBRA reunited 2 actors from the film, Rennie Santoni and Andrew Robinson. As mentioned, Brigitte Nielsen was Stallone's then-wife, who he had met filming Rocky IV, was cast as Ingrid Knudsen. After Lieutenant Marion Cobra Cobretti disarms and kills a maniac at a local supermarket in Los Angeles, he gets reprimanded by Detective Monte of the Los Angeles Police Department for disregarding police procedure, while Cobretti admonishes a group of reporters for not prioritizing the safety of potential victims. Unbeknownst to the police, the supermarket incident is a string of violent crimes in LA committed by the New World, a social Darwinist cult that despises modern society and believes in killing the weak, leaving only the strongest and smartest to rule the world. A model and businesswoman by the name of Ingrid Knudsen becomes the New World's primary target after she witnessed a murder at the hands of the night slasher, who was on a killing spree. Knudsen is placed under police custody of Cobretti and his partner Sergeant Tony Gonzalez after a failed attempt on her life. After more attempts to kill Knudsen and Cobretti, the COBRA theorizes an organization was responsible, but his theory is rebuffed by his superiors. So Cobretti and Gonzalez move with Knudsen out of LA to a small town in San Remis, where Cobretti and Knudsen begin to fall in love. Officer Nancy Stalk, who happens to be the New World's second in command, infiltrates the police escort. Despite mistrusting Stalk, Cobretti does nothing, and the group spends the night in a motel. At dawn, the New World arrives in San Remis on motorcycles and besieges the town, directed by Stalk. In a shootout, Cobretti kills many cultists, but Gonzalez gets wounded in the shootout. Cobretti and Knudsen flee in a pickup truck, where the cultists wreck with a roadblock. Cobretti and Knudsen end up in a chemical factory where Cobretti defeats the rest of the cultists, and Stalk is accidentally shot by the Night Slasher. Fighting the Night Slasher in hand-to-hand combat, Cobretti impales him on a hook and drags him into the furnace. The California Highway Patrol secures San Remis and rescues Gonzalez. As Cobretti is cleared by his superiors, Monty initially appears apologetic, only to once again chastise Cobretti for overdoing it. Cobretti ended up punching Monty in the face before riding away with Knudsen on a motorcycle. In the movie. You know, there was versions of this film that never saw the light of day. The first rough cut version of the film was 2 hours long. Closest estimated time originally was 130 minutes, which is 2 hours and 10 minutes, by the way. It was shortened to a roughly 2-hour director's cut, which was intended to be released in theaters. However, after Top Gun became a smash hit, Stallone and Warner Brothers are worried that COBRA, which would premiere that following week, would be overshadowed. So in order to ensure at least one extra screening each day, the movie was heavily re-edited. Stallone removed much of the plot and scenes involving characters other than his own. Warner Bros. Also demanded the more graphic scenes be cut down or removed entirely because they were too intense, and that some action scenes be cut for pacing. The extended television version of the film is approximately 6 minutes longer than the theatrical release. When first submitted to the MPAA, Motion Picture Association of America, the film received an X rating, necessitating into even more cuts. COBRA opened the widest for a Warner Bros. Release at the time, opening in 2,131 screens and debuted at number 1 in the U.S. box office with a Memorial Day weekend debut of $15.7 million. It eventually went on to gross $160 million, over 6 times the estimated $25 million budget. According to the New York Times, the film was considered a disappointment because its $48 million at the box office in the U.S. did not live up to the success of Rambo. My overall rating for COBRA is a 50 out of 100. You know, when I first saw this film, I thought it wasn't all that bad. But looking at the reviews, you know, COBRA was released to generally negative reviews with criticism of excessive violence and overuse of genre tropes. But it was a box office success and also has been considered a cult classic. Yeah, when you have a lot of violence in a movie, like when you have so much violence you want to put in a movie and you're told to cut a lot of the violence and stuff out, It was so graphically violent that it originally got an X rating, so it was heavily edited to receive an R rating. That's probably why the film was so bad to begin with. Probably one of the worst films of Sylvester Stallone's career. But that's just my opinion. What the hell's yours? This has been Joe Lum's Movie Review.
No.